Hobby Quick Hits, delivering that breaking hobby news directly to your earlobes. You want to know those hot drops from the card shop? We've got you covered. With your host, John Newman.
Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Hobby Quick Hits. Today's episode titled, What is the Responsibility of Card Manufacturers, right? What do we need them to take more ownership of? What do we need them to do better? Where are they lacking? And so that, I'm going to kind of take it from the perspective, if I was in charge, what I would do different. What are they doing wrong? And not everything they're doing is wrong. And I know we just had recently Topps Chrome football come out at astronomical prices. And yes, I'm going to touch on that. But, not everything they're doing across the board is wrong. But and not even so much always just wrong, but what can they improve upon? And so that's what this episode is going to be about. Let me know, if you listen, let me know what I got right, what you agree with, maybe what you disagree with. Opinions are welcome. And so, and this isn't just Topps. This is, and I know Panini doesn't hold the same licensing anymore, but this is for anyone that produces cards, even if you want to call them small boutique brands like Onyx and Sage and Press Pass and that sort of thing. This applies to everybody. But obviously when you hold most of the licensing as Topps does, you're going to be the standard bearer, if you will. All right, time for the next few weeks of product releases. Let's start with day of release of the show. April 20th, 2025, 26 Topps Chrome Bundesliga Soccer Sapphire Edition. On the 21st, 2026, Futura Incredible Collection Series 2. Let's go to the 22nd. These are all April 22nd, 2025, 26 Bowman Basketball Blasters, Delight, Hangers, Hobbies, and Jumbos. 2026 Leaf Metal Baseball Hobby and Jumbos. 25/26 Panini Donruss Road to FIFA World Cup 26 Soccer. 25/26 Upper Deck Skybox Metal Universe Hockey. Going to the 23rd, 2026 Topps Finest Premier League Soccer. The 24th, 2026 Sage Football, High Series Blasters and Hobbies. Pokemon Mega Evolution Ascended Heroes Booster Bundles and EX Box. On the 28th, 2025 Historic Autographs, President of the United States, the White House. On the 29th, Frazier Premier Edition Trading Cards. Also on the 29th, 2026, Leaf Magnificence Multisport. 2026, Panini Donruss Racing. 25/26, Panini's Select Serie A Soccer. Going to, also on the 29th, 2026, Topps Chrome Black Baseball. 2025, Topps Definitive Baseball. Also on the 29th, 2025, 26, Topps Cosmic Chrome Basketball. Moving on to May 1st, 2025, Topps Chrome Football Megas. 2025, Topps WWE Royalty. So that is the new release schedule for the next couple weeks. And as we always say, choose your product. Happy ripping.
Let's go round the hobbyverse and catch up on this week's hobby news.
All right, Topps had their industry conference in Arizona. Let's talk about some of the news coming out of that event. 23 NBA products will be released this year, including high-end products Dynasty, Definitive, in Royal. MVP buybacks are coming to football now, starting immediately with the NFL releases and Matt Stafford being the MVP. We're going to see more game-used football jerseys and football, and the items are going to be streamlined and direct from the NFL locker rooms. I've given credit where credit's due. The Major League debut patches have been one of the best things Topps has done in a while. Well, that they're going to continue now in basketball and football with debut patches from those sports and those rookies. Speaking of baseball, Topps Series 2, we had the Mantle 52 Topps Chase in Series 1. That's going to continue in Series 2 with 2 cards. A Hank Aaron, 1954 Topps rookie, a card I'm proud to own, and a 1953 Jackie Robinson Topps. Not a rookie card, but a iconic classic card just the same. Also mentioned is Fanatics is getting into the credit card business. So you can run up your credit card buying all that overpriced wax, if you will. So put it on your card. I'm kidding, but as someone who years ago ran up $10,000 on a credit card opening wax, it's easy to do. Don't fall down that Pratt hole, if you will. All right, GameStop. We all know they're a hub for PSA cards to get your cards graded. They're getting into the digital pack opening game, much like Arena Club. They're called Power Packs. The packs are digital, but the cards are real, ranging anywhere from $25 all the way up to $2,500. You rip that digital pack and pull a PS and get a PSA card, which you have a choice to keep in the vault, list on eBay, or sell back to them with an offer price that they will give. Not a fan of these, but actually for fun, the group I was set up at the last card show I did, we each bought a $25 Arena Club pack, and I got a Joey Bell 1990 Leaf PSA 8. Yay me. All right. They say don't knock it till you try it. So I tried it. Now I can knock it. All right. Let's moving on to more news. Most every month, Michael Jordan usually leads the way in basketball for most cards submitted for grading at PSA. Well, March, there's a new leader atop that board. Now, Jordan did finish second with 30,000 cards submitted, but your new leader for March was Cooper Flagg, who had 32,000 cards. So Cooper Flagg, 32,000, Michael Jordan, 30,000. JSA and My Gray have announced a new partnership, which will allow sort of a combo deal for photo matching an item and auto authentication. So the combo saves you a little money, gets the item photo matched, authenticated, and the autographed authenticated as well. And that's, again, assuming it passes their inspection. eBay has announced cancellations. We've all probably been there if you're an eBay seller, right? Someone wins an auction or even a buy it now, and then says, well, my son got my phone and bought that, or I rolled over in my sleep and bid on it unknowingly. You won't be able to do that no more. You cannot cancel cancellations, or you can't cancel your high bid or winning bid. You can request that the seller cancel your bid, but you yourself can't do that. Now, I actually like this new rule. I think it puts the onus on bidders, like, to honor your bids and your buy it nows, if you will. In the lawsuit department of the month or week, Michael Rasmussen out of Arizona is suing Collectors Holdings for uh, supposed monopoly now that they own PSA, SGC, and Beckett Grading. So he is suing for numerous compensatory and other damages. He is requesting a jury trial. This is pretty fresh news, so no date for trial or whether it will go to trial is set yet, but that is at least been filed. And let's close with a story I love. Nick Barton of Mean Daddy Cards, and I'm going to effort to get him on Sports Card Nation. He has set up he's calling it the All Stars Card Show. It will be taking place June 4th at Villanova University in Philadelphia. And it's a card show designed with collectors and kids with disabilities and their families. So it's going to be more spaced out. The rows are going to be wider, free admission. It's going to be set up where there's not going to be a lot of noise for kids that are noise sensitive. And, as someone who works in the special education department in teaching, I understand a lot of these things. And so to have a show designed for folks dealing with those disabilities in mind is great, right? It's a great thing to do, and not easy to do. And again, it's not about the money, right? There's no admission. This is just about the experience for these kids and their families. And so, kudos to Nick and Mean Daddy Cards, who are behind this event.
And now, our feature presentation.
All right, today's episode is going to be pertaining to, what card manufacturers are should be obligated to do, or what they should be about, in my opinion. Maybe you'll disagree, maybe you'll agree. I'll leave that to you, obviously. Now, I had written down this idea for this episode before the Topps Chrome football release, but let's start out by talking a little bit about that and the 4-figure price tag on a hobby box, which I think is I'm not going to mince words, right? I think that's outrageous. I think that's ridiculous. And, but again, right? But buyers set the price. But a lot of this price is being set by breakers who are buying up the product. And so I guess my first thing is I'd like to see these companies, have these products be more affordable for any, for a lot more people to purchase rather than people playing in the high-end space only. I know it's Chrome in this case, what we're talking about, but there's no way that product should be $1,200 or more for a hobby box. And again, that's my opinion. I'm not going to open that. Now, if I go to Walmart and see a blaster for $30, sure. And that's that affordability factor, and I like to see, these companies want to control a lot of the things. Well, control that as best you can. And I get the secondary market. You really can't necessarily control that, but they can put things in place to make a difference there, and like to see it. All right, what else would I like, to see card manufacturers do? Parallels are out of control, right? All these color variations, artificial scarcity. yes, they're 101s, but then there's 50 different 101s. So, we just have too many. And it's just, I'm a base cards matter guy. And always will be, was from day one. Before, I got into the hobby before there were parallels or numbered cards, and I don't have a problem with parallels and numbered cards. I just think there's way too many of them. There's too much of an influx, and what it's done, it's put too much emphasis on that, and people don't care about the base cards, right? Go to the National, look in trash cans that are wide open, right? And there's cards just sitting in the trash on top, or left at a table, just spread over around, and people don't care about like the regular cards anymore. Or I don't want to paint with a broad brush. A majority of people don't care about those base cards anymore, and it's sad for someone who started in 1979. And again, I'm not saying I'm trying to be the old man on the porch here. I get the evolution of the hobby and the innovation of the hobby with parallels and colored cards and foil cards, holographic cards, and I like pulling those too. I just think we have way too many of them, and there's just an oversaturation of those, and I like to see less. I don't want to get rid of them. I just like to see less, to where base cards can matter again. And again, maybe I'm in the minority. Let's talk about case hits. And I get, case hits are not a new phenomenon. We've even had them for many years. But sometimes I really question what's going on, right? So, we all know about the kabooms and the downtowns and the home field advantages, right? And how they're supposed to be really rare. And I had a friend of mine at the National had a whole case full of like downtowns. And I said to him, like, what's the deal here? You're supposed to be, rare or hard to get. And, I'm not going to mention them by name, but he told me, John, they're not what they're advertised to be. They're coming out at more frequency than we're told. And, while he said he pulled some, he bought most of them off other collectors. But he was very honest, at least with me, in saying, the hype is overhype. They're coming out at a higher rate than they're being advertised. He even questioned whether some were coming out of back doors of some of these card companies, card manufacturers. So, again, I'd like to see transparency in the odds, right? Sometimes I really question how accurate these odds are. And in some cases, I think there's some falsities there. So I'd like to see these card companies, whatever those odds are, live by them, be truthful by them, or don't even post them. Don't even post them. Let what comes out. But if you're going to post odds, I don't think they're always accurate, and I think they always should be. And, Kaboom doesn't have to be a case hit. You know what I mean? It's a great card, but if they're coming out at more than one per case, don't call them a case hit. That's, I guess, where I'm going with this. Stickers versus on-card autos. I don't hate sticker autos, and I've said this on the show before, right? Without sticker autos, there are some athletes that you would not be able to obtain an autograph in a pack of cards. That is the trade-off you have to make. Now, given the choice between the two, of course, I think 99% of us would, if not 100, would take an on-card auto over a sticker auto. But the sticker autos bother me a little bit less than probably the average collector, just because I realize, like, without it, we wouldn't be able to get some of these, athletes and celebrities autographs in product. So I'm okay with it, but the more on-card autos we can get in products, obviously it goes without saying, the better, right? Relic cards, right? I remember the days when pulling a game used card out of a product was a big deal, and you got excited. And that bloom has come off the rose. We got a lot of these event worn, or I hate to pick on Panini, but they're famous for this, right? Is they have an athlete show up at their corporate, and they throw 50 jerseys on them, and they look like the Michelin Man, and then they have them take off the jersey, and they say, was worn by said player, and then they cut these up, and it's not used in the game, it's not used on the field. I want to see us get back with game used cards, which I still love, and I think they have a place in the hobby. Let's quit with these event worn. Let's get back to game use. And I know Topps at the recent, if you heard the news segment, you heard me talk about Topps is going that direction. And so kudos there for getting back to the real game used, cards in products, and not event worn, or the player touched it for 2 seconds and now or the Christmas sweaters, or the list goes on and on. Let's bring back the significance of a relic or game use card, and I think Topps is laying the groundwork for that. Redemptions, right? Again, sort of like sticker autos for me. I understand redemptions will always be part of products. Sometimes they don't have the items yet, or maybe in a case like the 52 Topps Mantle Chase, that card won't fit into a regular pack of standard size cards, so you have to use redemption. I'm not opposed to redemption. What I'd like to see better with redemption is the turnaround times. I think years and years waiting for a redemption card to be redeemed and honored is just way too long. That's what these companies need to get better with, is like the time that it takes to get what you got a redemption card for. We talk about waiting for our graded cards to come back. It takes months and months, if not a year, right? Well, redemption cards are even worse in most cases, right? The turnaround times on redemption cards. Let's streamline that process. Let's get that process quicker. The watering down of rookie cards, right? I don't know how you fix this, and I'm going to complain about it, but full disclosure, I don't think it's fixable at this point. So what do I mean by the watering down of rookie cards? Well, if you started in the 70s like I did, or earlier, most guys had, most athletes had one rookie card, maybe 3, 4, 5 at the most, depending on licensing, right? But what's happened now is it's just such a plethora of products, and then different versions, right, of the card that, where, Cal Ripken has, I'll use him for example, 3 rookie cards, if you're a Cal Ripken collector, to obtain. If Cal Ripken was a rookie in today's day and age, he'd probably have between 200 to 500 rookie card choices for that collector, and that's just a lot. And that's just because there's just so many products, and then you got the different parallels and the different versions and different tiers. Again, I'm not a fan of that. I'm sort of old school, but I don't think this is a problem that can be really fixed. I think sort of the horses out of the barn. The only way you fix it, right, is you don't have as many products. And for what these companies are paying for the licensing, that's not going to happen. We're going to get 30, 40 products of each sport a year, if not more. And that's one company in Topps' case, with the 3 major sports now, with football, basketball, and baseball. And so, when you look at, let's take hockey, for example, right, with Upper Deck holding that license, and, that young gun of a rookie has sort of become sort of the standard bearer for less rookie cards to chase, right? And I sort of like that. I like that, but again, I don't think this is a problem that can be fixed. I think what it really boils down to is if you're collecting rookie cards, is you really have to decide which is the few or the one, or which ones are you going to try to get. To try to get them all would be literally almost impossible, if not impossible. So I don't think it's fixable, but if you have a suggestion, I'd like to hear it. I'm sure there's more things that I didn't mention. Let me know what you'd like to see from card manufacturers to make the hobby better. I'll add another thing on the fly here. I'd like to see more card companies at events, or you go to a baseball game and the first 5,000, 10,000 people through the gate get maybe a promo pack free as part of the experience. And I know they do that sometimes at NFL games. Years ago, I know I got some Panini team packs at Steeler or Bills games I went to. I'd like to see that become more of a regular occurrence to expose our great hobby, right? To maybe people who don't even know about it, or getting that promo pack in hand as you walk through that gate. Maybe that creates a future collector, and that's a good thing, I believe. Anyway, so maybe more, an on-site present at sporting events. I'm not even saying the company has to be there, but maybe doing giveaways or giving away those promo packs as people walk through or enter the stadium or the arena. That's all I got. What say you? Do you agree? Disagree? Did I miss something? Did I leave something out? Let me know what you think, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, everybody.